headquarters, and I went there. And he came out, and he walked over to me and he said, Gene, he said, your dad died last night. He said, you go and get a permit for a 10-day leave. That's all he said.
Mm. And
So cool.
Yeah,
How old were you at that
27.
So the 10-day leave let you go home, or just?
Yeah, 10-day leave.
but he had no idea, I mean, his dad wasn't, your dad wasn't
No, he
sick
wasn't
or
sick or
anything
anything.
like that, that'd be the last thing that you would expect.
How old
Does-
were you?
Hmm?
How old was your dad?
My dad's 62.
Oh,
Your dad was 62?
Mm-hmm.
What did he die of?
Heart attack.
Yeah?
He was working at the pools. The pool used to be over here at Sheridan
Sheridan Park?
Park, in that building they got over there.
Yeah, Baker Park, I think it's called.
And he had worked in there, he'd worked on elections for maybe 6 or 7 years. And he went over there and worked all day, and then they were just getting ready to count the votes. He collapsed, just like that.
What had he done before? What work did he do?
No, he retired when he was 45 years of
Not
age.
bad.
Hmm?
Not bad.
Not too bad, no. He worked at American Motors. He was a foreman out at American Motors. He had about 120 people working for him.
Uh-huh.
They called it the sundry department. I don't know, they took care of products sort of after they shipped stuff out, and then they'd order things
Mhm.
from the factory, and he had charge of that.
Uh-huh. How did he get to retire at 45?
Well, let's see now, how old would he have been? He was born in 1880. So in 1925, he'd be 45, wouldn't he?
Mm-hmm.
No, he was 45 years of age. Then, well, what happened is when he was about 1921, things started to happen at American Motors where he had been working. He worked through the war there, and then after the war, and they came to him and they called all their superintendents in, and they said, this little Alford, his name was, he weighed about 110 pounds. He was a hunchback. He was supposed to be one of the smartest guys in the country. And he was worth $20–30 million, something. The Alford, you've heard that name, Alford.
Alford Park.
Alford Park, and then this home that he had down there with what in the world was that music out of that Spebsqua. Yeah.
The barbershop quartet?
Barbershop Quartet.
Oh.
That was his home.
Oh,
He built that home for his wife and his one boy that he had, and he had this one boy, and one night they had a party, and they had a, what do they call that party where they go out and it's like a they get a towel or they get this and that,
the scavenger hunt.
scavenger hunt. And he's on the scavenger hunt, and he's coming down 75th Street. This was before the tracks were lifted,
Mm-hmm.
And he and another car. He was in the first car. He started across, and the train came through and hit the back end of his car. And hit the front end of the other car. So they had 8 kids in there. It was four couples,
Oh,
and 5 of them were killed.
oh,
And that was their only child.
oh.
And it was before the house was finished.
Oh.
So then, after that, is that when they built the railroad tracks up?
Yeah. So then he had, that was with the Alford's deal, because they were killing people at these crossings everywhere.
Yeah.
But because of Alfred's power and his position and so forth, he was able to get the railroad to raise the tracks.
Oh,
That's the reason
Wow.
why, that's the reason why Kenosha's got that. Racine doesn't have it.
oh,
Milwaukee doesn't have it.
mm-hmm,
Waukegan doesn't have it.
oh. So,
We're without him.
yeah, that's right. You know, oh, well, I mean, that was so close to our house. I remember looking out the back window whenever a train went by and watching the train go by up there.
Yeah.
And so was Alfred driving the car when his kid was killed?
No,
Mr. Alford?
no.
Oh.
These were 4 young people.
Oh, so they were
Alfred-
teenagers who were.
Yeah, they were on this scavenger hunt.
Uh-huh, I see. I thought a parent was driving their kids.
No.
Uh-huh.
So they, that was a terrible tragedy.
Oh, that is, gosh.
So this, so in 1921, Alfred got your dad together with
Oh
him?
yeah, Alfred called these different men in that were, high up in the administration of the thing, and he said, now, we know that there's gonna be a tremendous rise in the stock. And so we want all of our men that are in administrative positions to take advantage of this. So just get a hold of any money that you can and buy some stock, because they're gonna come out all right. So my dad didn't have any money, so he went to Alfred and he told him, he said, would you go on a note for me at the bank? And Alfred said yes, he would. And so for $1,000, yeah. And then when he got to talking to other guys and so forth, he decided he wanted to go for 2,000. So he asked Alfred if he'd go for 2,000. He said sure. So that's how he got his start, at the $2,000. Pretty soon the stock went from 60 to 600. And then these guys were making money, there was very little in income taxes then too. So most of the money that was made went into their own pockets.
And did your dad have a dishwasher company
Yeah.
for a while?
That
In
was
the
one of
1920s, right?
Yeah, that was one of the things he bought.
What's
And
your,
my brother Norm was the vice president of that company at 19.
A dishwasher company
Yeah,
What kind of dishwasher?
automatic dishwasher,
in the 1920s?
1920s, yeah.
Is it kind of like this, or
No, it was a big thing that,
for restaurants, or?
it's set up on top of the thing
Uh-huh.
there, and then you had to put the hot water in and put the dishes in, and then you'd have to close the door, see,
Mhm.
because when you turn it on, there's hot water. And we used to have trouble with that every once in a while, because somebody would forget to close the door.
You get water all over the kitchen?
But that was great to have a dishwasher in 1927,
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
What kind of a guy was he?
Who?
Your father?
My dad was kind of happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah.
did he play with the kids and stuff like that, or was he more distant?
Well, no, he was very good to his family, I thought. He took us all to New York one time, it was about 1928. It was. He went out and bought 2 new cars. He bought a seven passenger Nash and a 5-passenger Nash. And he took 5 of us and my mother to New York City for 2 weeks. We stayed in a
Boy.
hotel.
Well, that's really nice.
Yeah, we stayed in a hotel. Let's see, who went? Lucille, Paul, Louis, Eugene.
So he didn't even discriminate against the girl? He brought a girl too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and, my dad was a real, real well-met guy and, enjoyed a lot of fun. He was a good father.
Mhm.
Was he a religious person?
Religious, yeah, and he worked a lot for the church. We used to have big celebrations. He was chairman of the celebration,
Yeah.
so forth. And he used to,
At St. James?
St. James.
That was
yeah,
your
he used
parish?
to- Used to do a lot of work for the church. And the hospital. St.
So
Catherine's
after he
Hospital.
retired, he just did a lot of volunteer work?
Well, no, he was investing and dealing with all kinds of stuff. They bought Forest Park, for instance. He and 6 other guys bought Forest Park. The whole doggone thing.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't a thing in there. There was nothing in there. They bought it about 1928, I think. They each put $30,000 apiece in.
Mm.
Then they put the roads in and the sewers and stuff like that, and they started to sell the lots. And the lots, you could pay $1 down and $1 a week.
Mm.
And they'd had some guy that was superintendent of schools who took the job of running this thing. And he'd have this office out there and people would come and buy this stuff, and
Mhm.
pay $1 down, $1 a week. But then, when the Depression came, forget it, keep it,
Mm.
that's why.
Mhm.
They didn't want to pay anymore,
Mm.
and they weren't concerned about who owned the land or anything. My dad built the first house in there too.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah,
It's still there?
it's still there now. It's very good too.
Yeah. Where is it?
It's on, I can't remember the name of the street now. Wilson? It isn't Wilson Road now.
Taft.
Taft Road might be one. Yeah, it was Taft Road. Because Sullivan's lived in it for a while. Mrs. Sullivan.
Rose
Rose.
Town.
Yeah. But another guy came out there and he got in there and then he stopped paying rent. My dad would try to get a hold of him, and he couldn't make any connection with him or anything else. And then they kept on badgering each other for about 6 months, and then one day my dad went out there and there wasn't anybody there.
You moved out, huh?
He moved out, yeah. I mean, he had a lot of experience with houses like it. He went out on 35th Avenue, he had a house, and he rented it out to Pete Barca. And Pete Barca was a kind of a character at that time. He was he didn't mind the law or anything like that. So he decided to put a still into the house. So he tore out the floor and he put the still in the basement and went up through the house.
Oh.
And my dad went out there one day and saw it, and they told him, he said, "You gotta get this thing out of here."
Mhm.
And so then he came home, and a couple nights later the doorbell rang. And my dad went out there, with Parka.
Mhm.
And he came in the house and he said, told my dad, he said, "If you make me take that out, it's the last move you make."
So what did he do?
Took it out.
He took it out, took out the still?
Barker took it out himself?
Well, I mean, he got rid of it.
Yeah, yeah. Was it,
But those houses, I think Aunt Annie and Uncle Jack
mhm.
lived in one of those houses. When things went bad,
Mhm.
sorry, you couldn't do anything right.
Right,
You couldn't do anything right.
yeah. Well, were there a lot of gangsters around Kenosha? No?
Well, they newly made gangsters,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as guys from Chicago and stuff like that, no.
Mm-hmm.
But some people became gangsters in a sense.
Cause you
They-
didn't have a way to make a living, right?
Yeah, that was a way to make a living for some of them. They would buy cars and then they'd make this whiskey without any tax and all that stuff on it. They'd
Mhm.
load down a car somewhere and they'd take it out to Iowa or someplace. And that's the way some of them,
Sold it for heating fuel, I suppose.
some of them are still operating here in Kenosha.
Mhm. Still with stills in their houses?
Oh.
Oh,
Well, you haven't heard anything about stills and stuff like that for a long time,
no.
but that was true, you know.
Because it's legal now.
Huh?
Because it's legal
now.
now.
It's no fun anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even, you hear about it in Kentucky and Tennessee and places like that, but the people that try to make whiskey without paying the tax and stuff,
Right.
well, that went on for a long time. It was- That was a dangerous time too,
Yeah.
because there were a lot of, well, that's when Capone
Mhm.
operated and all those guys. You got hooked up with them, boy. You know, started wearing lead shoes, boy.
Are you talking about Al Capone?
Yeah.
Al Capone? Oh, I was thinking there was a guy who ran for mayor named Capone.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the same name? That was his cousin or something? No. Oh, okay.
It's really Al Capone,
Right, yeah. But there wasn't there a guy named Capone?
Mario Capone.
Mario Capone,
Yeah.
who ran for mayor?
Spelled differently.
Oh, okay.
Did anyone that you knew get involved with that at all, or,
Whiskey, you mean?
yeah, well, anything with the
Well,
illegal,
oh,
yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, when he wanted to go down and take a shower, he had to. Didn't you, wasn't there a still in the basement
yeah.
here?
Yeah, my dad was making whiskey for Norman,
Yeah,
See,
for Uncle Lauren?
Sure, Norm, well, they bought the West Town building too, that was one of their deals. But then the West Town building defaulted, and some guy in Milwaukee got a hold of it. And so they lost it, but then they set up that tavern down, the West Town Club. And Norm ran it.
Mhm. And that was during Prohibition, so Norm
Yeah.
was a gangster too.
So Norm
Yeah.
had that, yeah. And this is where they used to make the whiskey that he sold out of,
Mhm, mhm.
down in the basement they go
Did
down.
Grandma know about it?
Sure. Well, she didn't like it too much, but then she liked to eat too.
Yeah, she didn't call the police.
Everyone always told me she was such a sweet woman,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
remember
She
that.
really
I
was.
like Grandma. She lived
She
too.
would never talk about anybody. She would never say a bad word about anybody.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we
Never a
didn't know.
gossip.
Didn't know.
Didn't know what was
anything
going on.
We didn't know anything that was going on. We didn't find out that Elmer Schulte, who was Aunt Annie's boy, that
But his mother wasn't married.
his mother wasn't married, you know, that he was born, and anybody should have been able to figure that out. Her name was Schulte,
Right,
his name was Schulte,
oh,
but there wasn't any husband.
uh-huh,
But my mother never ever told us anything like that.
oh,
And for some reason or other, most of us never ever asked the question.
mhm. Who's Elmer Schulte?
Well, he was,
A cousin, first cousin of yours.
Yeah.
he worked around here. I think he sold insurance for a while.
Mm.
Everything. He ended up in Milwaukee. And he had quite a family, didn't he?
I think he had 8 children.
8 children.
And he worked for the church
Yeah, he was a big,
almost until he died.
and he lost a leg.
And he still continued.
Because of diabetes too?
I think so.
Cause that's how Grandma, lost her.
When was that? Were they?
When Grandma lost her dad?
Yeah.
She was about 77.
Oh, okay.
Was she very, very, very sick once?
Yeah,
And she was, what, after she had one of the kids?
Jerry.
Or?
After she had Jerry, she
Uh-huh.
came home, she weighed 75 pounds.
Though, and what was wrong with her then, do you know?
What did they call it? They had she had a wonderful doctor. And, he was from Chicago. Percy, his name was, Dr. Percy. And they thought she was dead several times, you know, I mean, they never thought she was gonna make it at all. And then she came back and then she had tick.
Oh, but you don't remember the name, was it a particular disease, or was she just exhausted, or?
No, that's it. There's a name for it.
Oh,
I can't think.
Was it toxemia or was it
No.
something different?
or uremia, or
No,
some complication of pregnancy, though?
no,
Oh.
don't think it was that.
And then didn't they have a nurse come and take care of her all the time, or something like that? Or how did
We
that
had,
work?
we had a woman that took care of things,
Mhm.
and she was our mother for a long time.
Oh, who was that, do you remember her name?
Mrs. Maltus.
Mhm.
And she was something,
Did she take good care of you, or she was something?
she was something.
Oh.
How old were you?
She had her favorite word was pew,
Oh.
pew. She'd run around the house, pew.
How old were you?
Well, I was 10 probably.
Mhm.
She was a dandy.
Oh.
How long was she around?
She must have stuck around a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, 'cause your mom
I can
was
see
really sick.
I can still see that picture. There's one picture of my mother
Mhm.
sitting out in front
Mhm.
at the other house.
Mm.
And she looked like she was gone.
Mm.
Then she just gotten out of the hospital.
Mhm.
You were only 8 then,
Then, yeah.
when Jerry was born.
That must have been pretty hard, in the formative years, when you didn't know. I mean, did you realize as a child how serious it was?
Oh, well, sure. We were praying every night
Mhm.
because she was on her deathbed for a long time.
But she stayed at home, she wasn't in the hospital.
Well, she was in the hospital most of the time.
Mm. Oh.
Eventually she came home.
So you wouldn't see her for a long time then, because they didn't let kids in the hospital then, did they?
How did, do you know how your parents met?
Mhm.
They didn't tell stories like that.
My mother was very secretive about things. And so she didn't think that children should know all those things anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And did you think that was true to carry on that tradition?
I didn't think so. Didn't we tell you some things?
A few.
Well, didn't we tell you a thing or two?
So how did you two meet? Huh?
Not like I have to tell my
I've never
child.
heard this story. Yeah, what did you, after you came back from the war, you were working at the unemployment agency?
Endpoint.
Oh, sorry. And Mom was working there too?
Yeah.
He got his job first.
Yeah.
And I recommended she be hired.
So that's-
Actually, my first day of work, he wasn't even there. He must have been on some job in Milwaukee or something.
Hmm.
Oh. The mom didn't wanna come back, but then they said, well, there's a very nice Mr. Hammond here. And then when Mr. Hammond asked her out, Mom thought, well, either I should go before Congress and file a sex harassment suit, or maybe I should take him up on it.
Mom, were you looking for someone at the time?
No, I
did
had
you
a
have your-
boyfriend at the time.
Oh, you did?
You
Was
did?
there a fist fight?
You mean you
between
had
Dad
another
and Mom?
boyfriend besides
Oh, I
Dad?
had another boyfriend, huh?
There was a sailor, wasn't there? There was someone I saw your picture with. But you were quite young.
I don't think I had my picture taken at the sailor that I went with.
Oh, how many were there?
Oh, yeah, that was the sailor down in New Orleans.
That was after she was married. You really were supposed to
Oh,
see
dear.
that one.
Oh dear.
When I went down to take care of Uncle Keith's little baby while his wife went and had another one. Then Uncle Keith was in the Navy Air Corps, so he got one of his friends to show me around New Orleans while I was down there. And one of his friends was godfather to the new baby, and I was godmother, so that's
So
why we had our picture taken.
maybe under those very peculiar circumstances.
But how did you hear about this young woman? I mean, did you work together, or did you?
Oh, no, we didn't work together, did
Well, there were no doors between us, but our offices were separated.
we? But we weren't
But
working
when
on the
I-
same stuff though.
No. I was a file clerk, and I would have to go out and file things in the drawers that were kind of close to his office.
And
To make sure the door was
So,
open before
yeah.
you filed it.
After I saw him, I went on a diet.
Really?
Yeah.
little did she know that Dad did not like women like that. So,
So you were interested.
So you saw
I
him?
was interested.
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, Mom should tell about the first time she came to this house. It was
When-
before,
You
you
were-
don't want to tell us?
You pretended you were a Girl Scout and
No,
You
the
did
first
tell.
time, before they even went on a date.
you
Can I tell this?
No,
Sure.
Mom was
Let Mom.
up in the bedroom with Dad.
Dad had
Which
missed a
bedroom?
couple of days of work.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, poor guy. I'll go see how he is. And our office was downtown on
Mhm.
56th Street and 6th Avenue.
Mhm.
So I walked down here. I walked home anyway, all the way to Cooper Road. So I
Oh,
just took this way home. And I looked up his address in the file.
uh-huh.
in a file clerk.
Secret
handy.
information.
And when I got to the house and saw it, I thought, oh, I can't go in there. It took a lot of courage to ring the bell. And his mother answered. And I said, I just wanted to see how Mr. Hammond was doing.
She said, which Mr.
And
Hammond?
I sat in that chair there. I'll bet I talked to her for about 20 minutes or half an hour before
She quizzed you?
she let me go upstairs. But John was living here. His brother John was living here at the time, and Gladys was home.
Mhm.
And so I just went up, and he was in bed, sick.
Mhm.
I don't remember what was wrong. So I
He
just
was
visited
faking it
for a
to get
little
you
while.
to come.
I might have been up there with a couple of black eyes.
From your fight with Dick.
Yeah.
That happened after you got home from the army? Oh, it did?
You were 30 years old?
I think that happened
no.
before I met you, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That happened before I went to the service.
I hope so,
'Cause
Dad.
he was 17 and I was 27.
Oh, really? Oh, you were that old and you still got in a fist fight with him?
Yeah.
With Dick?
Well, we decided to go down and fight in the KYF.
Oh.
I don't know whether it was over something or whether it wasn't. I don't
Mhm.
think it was. I think it was just the idea of fighting.
Oh.
And he smacked me right in the two eyes, and I have two black eyes.
Oh. What did you do to him?
Nothing.
Nothing? Oh.
I waved at him.
So you were boxing?
Yeah,
With
Oh,
gloves
you were,
or-
you,
yeah, gloves.
oh, okay. Oh, I didn't understand this story. I thought you guys just really were fighting over a girl or something.
Oh, no. No,
Oh, it was
must
for,
have-
it was organized, it was like a
So-
duel.
Yeah, it was challenge.
So how did you hear about this woman?
Well, when she was in this bedroom, I noticed.
Is that the first time that you noticed her,
What?
or when she came by to visit?
Well, no. I knew she was upstairs. I knew she was in the office.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I had never?
Here's the famous Eugene Hammond coming out of the long lived in resident 508 68th Street.
Is that,
Here we are in downtown Kenosha, taking a look around. Remember this church here? And I had always thought that this was Dad's insurance agency down here. The one that used to say Hammond Insurance, but no way, that's not what. Here's where it was, the Orpheum building. Up here, second floor. Dad, where was the office? Right up there, up above the door. See, things have changed around Kenosha a little bit. We have a bunch of condos or apartments over here right next to the train station. So you can take the train down to Chicago now. Come over here. We have the place that represents where Dad used to work. The city hall isn't there anymore, so the Kenosha Municipal Building will have to do for now. Yep. There's the harbor that Dad built with his own. Here we are at the First Bank Southeast, where Dad used to work. Right in there, can you see that? Maybe not. Some of you may think of it as the First Bank Southeast, but everyone really knows that this was the Kenosha National Bank. Here we have St. James Church, where Mom and Dad were married. Not up there, down here. Over there is St. James School. My dad went to school. There you go, St. James School. And if you look very carefully, down here you can see etched in there, it says G.H. loves P.L. Did you do that? We are at the front of the church here. Here we go. This is a picture of the house at Devil's Elbow. This is Dad's. Is this where you were born, or? Is this
Yeah.
when you were born? You were, oh.
I think only one child was born in the hospital.
Oh yeah?
That was Jerry.
And you were born in the house, huh?
Yeah. Jerry.
Jerry was born at the hospital. We walk around